This is Bedtime Stories, Grownup Edition, Sins of the Father, Part 15. When we left off, Rennie had said what we were all thinking. Kidnappings, murders, essays, and rescues had become way too common in and around the St. James family. But it was not normal. And while Big Wood was an OG who successfully retired from the game, and so was Samuel, the fact that Big Wood had been pulled right back into it, right along with Q, who never wanted to be in it, was proof that no one could be in or around that life and come out unscathed, and it would absolutely leave them all changed. And while everyone who was new to that life had appeared to make the adjustment, Angela was proving, yet again, that she was not about that life. When Q asked her if she wanted out of the marriage, Angela said, "Baby, I'm just having a hard time believing that God, in his infinite wisdom, after my first marriage and how all that turned out, would bring me to the kind of love that you and I share. Give us 5 children to raise, including a set of naturally conceived and born twins, just so you could choose to be a criminal and put everything that I've built, that we've built, that you've built on the line. And how many times are you going to be in a position where you have to choose between the family you came from and the one we're creating? Believe me, I get it. Your father's death made you the head of this family, but our marriage made you the head of our household, and I don't have a problem following your leadership. But I'll be damned if I follow you to hell." Meanwhile, True, Rennie, and Stephanie have arrived to the safe house. Somehow, Maribel managed to beat them there, and she was having an all-out adult tantrum. They walked in just as she was saying, "I am the daughter of the head of this family. When I ask questions, I get answers. Now, I don't often exert power, but what part of the game is this?" The soldier who she was yelling at said, "With all due respect, Dr. Lopez, I'm just not at liberty to share." Maribel said, "I don't want to hear that damn line. Either let me see the surveillance or tell me what I missed." True said, Maribel, I don't know that that's a good idea." Maribel turned around and said, "And I didn't ask you." Stephanie said, "Let me find out that you curious. You want to know what your man over there doing to Portia, huh?" True said, "If you would stop making snide remarks, maybe she wouldn't be so curious. Cut it out, Steph." Rennie said, "I'd have to agree. From what I've heard, you don't want to see that, Maribel." Maribel said, "Well, let me be the judge of that." True said, "I think that it should be enough to know that he does not appear to be in any immediate danger." Maribel said, "The less I know, the more angry I get." True said, "And I'd take that over the alternative. Let's talk in private, please." In the other room, True said, "Listen, Maribel, when we were trying to find Jira, and we were using Lil Jose to do it." Maribel said, "Who?" True said, "He was the son of the leader of the family that was running things in Venezuela. His father was working with Santiago Morena, the man who was helping Jira evade the families." Maribel said, "What does that have to do with the situation with Donovan and Portia?" True said, "Wood and I had just decided that we would be in a relationship, and I'd positioned myself to be Lil Jose's love interest. There came a point where I had to put up or shut up. I'd been stringing him along, and let's just say it was time for us to be intimate. Salima and Zoe were monitoring the cameras in the condo that I was pretending to be staying in, and Wood walked in during that intimate moment." Maribel said, "Oh my God." True said, "Right. I didn't just have to make it look good. I had to make it good." Wood understood what was on the line. He understood why I was doing what I was doing and what I needed to do. But I couldn't handle knowing that he'd seen me doing what I was doing. I couldn't face him. Eventually, I ended up in the Morena's hands in Colombia, and he was there to make sure that I got free. We are all where we are right now, because even though he understood, he was still in his feelings. And the decisions that he made that day took him out of the game before he was actually ready to retire. And we spent the next 2 years, damn near, cleaning up that mess. Donovan is going to do whatever he needs to do to stay alive, to get back to you, his children, and his real life. Whatever he's doing in there with Portia is not real. You don't need to see it. You don't need to hear about it. He wouldn't want you to. And even if you can get over it, he might not be able to. He isn't the man that he was before he went into treatment. He's definitely a new man. Let him be that new man in your mind. Don't replace that with whatever's on that surveillance video. Meanwhile, at the house that Catherine had prepared for Nigel's children to stay in, Sincere asked, "Where's our mother and why are we staying at this house instead of at our house?" Amir said, "That's not your mother's house anymore. I thought Miss Catherine made that clear to you all." Simone said, "She didn't at least give her 30 days like a real landlord would?" Amir said, "She not a damn landlord. Your mother's been staying in the house that Miss Catherine now owns. I don't think y'all really getting this. What happened today at the St. James estate can't happen again. Star, you are not dealing with sorority girls. The women you met today not going to discuss you in the group chat and throw a drink in your face at the club. And the grown men you met today are either unavailable or just not interested in entertaining a 19-year-old college student. Simone, you can help your sisters get with the program, make allies, and become a part of your family. Or you can help them make enemies and ruin the rest of y'all lives. My suggestion is that y'all take the night to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your lives, because you all are going to need to have come to a consensus by the morning. Sincere, I'll be back here to pick you up at 9 a.m. Enjoy the amenities, because none of you can leave this house until this is all worked out." Simone said, "Well, I need to call Autumn and let her know where I am and what's going on. Or is that against the rules too?" Amir said, "Run your mouth at your own risk, but I'd advise you to consider that the more people you involve in your family's business, the more people you make a liability to your family business." Early the next morning, True is woken up from a dead sleep. Her phone is ringing, and when she answered it, Mom Brenda's on the other line. True said, "Hey, Mom Brenda, did you have an opportunity to discuss what we discussed with Melissa?" Mom Brenda said, "No, but I prayed about it. Let me ask you a question. You know me, right?" And True said, "Yes." Mom Brenda said, "Let me ask you another question. Do I know you?" True paused, because by her estimation, there were really only two people in the world who could truly say that they knew her, Stephanie and Rennie. And even they couldn't know her fully, because there was a part of her that she didn't even know anymore. A part of her that was buried with Bo. And there was a new part of her that she was still getting to know. A part of her that was born out of her love for Big Wood. And then this life had created and was creating a whole new part of her that even she was still getting to know. So she didn't know how to answer that question. Eventually, though, she said, "Yes." And Mom Brenda said, "Usually, when someone takes a long time to answer a simple yes or no question, they either don't know or don't like the answer themselves. Which one is it for you, True Joy?" True said, "I don't really know." And Mom Brenda said, "Now that was an honest answer. Tell me something. How are Angela and Regina doing with all of this?" True looked at the clock and said, "Well, Regina and LJ are on their way back to Texas. I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that. And when I saw Angela last night, she looked like a war was brewing on the inside of her." Mom Brenda said, "Right. So, if I talk with Melissa about what you called me about last night and I help her do this, will I be helping Angela and Regina in the process?" True said, "Absolutely." Mom Brenda said, "Then I can't help you, and I can't help them. It's time that both of those women learn to look towards the hills, not rely on earthly solutions." True said, "I don't understand. If this will free Donovan, get Q out of having to take this job, assuage Angela's fears, and help Regina and LJ with whatever it is that they got going on, why would you say no? I'd expect that you would at least discuss it with Melissa and let her decide." Mom Brenda said, "I'm old. I will not be here forever. I'm trying to teach my grandchildren to rely on God, to live right. That's hard to do when all of you grown-ups are hell-bent on making your lives hard, choosing your own way, and creating situations that you need to be rescued from. You all are so determined to find a way to live broken when letting God." And before she could finish her speech, she heard Melissa say over her shoulder, "Just so you know, I wasn't intentionally eavesdropping on either one of your conversations. So if God didn't want me to help, he wouldn't have let me hear them." Aunt True, I'm in. What do I need to do? True said, just call your friend. Don't tell him anything about the family, anything about what's going on with Donovan or your father. Tell him that you know that his mother offered her help when you were missing and that your family's in a serious situation, and they need her help. That your father's not willing to ask for help because he knows that he's going to owe her. But you also know that she asked to have a meeting with your father, and your father's been putting it off. Tell him that you need him to arrange to have your father's supervisor call him because he's on leave right now, and he's in Miami. And you need for his supervisor to arrange that meeting ASAP. And when he asks you for more information, you give him my number. Melissa said, okay, but what number do I give him? Because you got a lot of phones, Aunt True. True chuckled and gave Melissa the phone number. And Melissa said, Mom Brenda will call you back when it's done. True said, thank you, Melissa. Melissa said, no problem, but now I need you to do me a favor. True said, okay. Melissa said, don't let my Aunt Stephanie drink any alcohol or use any drugs. Or True said, drugs? Melissa said, I don't know. I just don't want her to do anything that might hurt the baby. In unison, True and Mom Brenda said, baby. Melissa giggled and said, I had the best dream last night. Baby Kari's gonna be a big sister. When True hung up with Melissa and Mom Brenda, she immediately called the Queen Mother. When the Queen Mother answered, she said, Medea, I'm sorry. I hate to call you this early and wake you up. The Queen Mother said, girl, I was up. You were actually interrupting me and Idra. True said, ew, okay. The Queen Mother said, that's not what I meant. We were having a conversation. So I hope that this is important. True said, it is. We got a problem. Well, not a problem. We got a situation. The Queen Mother said, of course we do. What's new? But if it's something involving Donovan, you better be on it. True said, no, it has nothing to do with Donovan. I just talked to Melissa, and she told me that Stephanie's pregnant. The Queen Mother said, what? Her and CT only made up a week or so ago, and I thought she was infertile. True said, apparently Melissa had some dream last night. The Queen Mother said, oh, then she pregnant. And you're right. We got a situation. True said, so what happens now? The Queen Mother said, girl, I don't know. We've never been here before. Stephanie's going to have to decide what it is that she wants to do. Does she want to continue pursuing the role as Queen Pin, or does she want to step down? If she continues, then you do what's necessary to keep her out of the line of fire. This may not be what you want to hear, but I'm more concerned about her family. Her children deserve a 2-parent household. Corey deserves to have a present and committed wife who's mentally stable and can consistently mother his children. And I don't know that Stephanie can be that. True said, well, damn. The Queen Mother said, oh, I know she's capable of it, but I'm not convinced that she values what he values. And that's where the problem lies. True sat back down on the bed and rubbed her head and let out a deep sigh. The Queen Mother said, what's the hang-up? True said, you got time to talk? The Queen Mother, realizing that something was up with True, asked, what's going on? True said, I'm starting to feel like it's better to be single and be in this life. I don't understand why it's so important to the families that the heads be married. And I'm glad that there's no requirement that right hands be married, because I don't know if I'm going to get there. The Queen Mother said, it's required because if it's done right, marriage keeps you grounded. True asked, but does it? Because we here to lay to rest a kingpin who had a mistress and 5 kids. The Queen Mother said, according to Catherine, he had 7 mistresses. And if you're waiting for me to tell you that he was an enigma, don't hold your breath. True said, then why require marriage? The Queen Mother said, I think it's time that you sit down and have a conversation with Emmanuel. He's the only head who's in a position to give you the answers you're looking for. He'll keep it real with you. It's different for men and women, though. A man who's unattached or who's attached to the wrong woman, or who doesn't value that attachment. And yes, he can value the attachment and still be a philanderer, is a lot more vulnerable in this life. And so is his organization. But a man with a family who's committed, who values that family, takes less risks, is more intentional with the decisions that he makes, has more to consider than just himself. And in an effort to protect his wife and his children, He invariably protects those who report to him, their wives or husbands, and their children. A single woman, no matter how independent she claims to be, is always gonna be looking for love. Even if she says she's not, she's always gonna be looking for a man. A man who can drive, who can lead. And that's dangerous to an organization. She needs a man who can lead her while she leads the organization. A man who can exert his power at home, give her permission to be soft, force her to balance her masculine energy, remind her that she's the boss everywhere but at home. And while just like a man, she may very well cheat, a cheating head is not looking for a replacement for their spouse. It's in the game. It's a part of the business. It's about power, not love. It's wrong, but sometimes it's necessary. You know something about that, true? I'm not encouraging you to step out on big wood, but I think you know you got a man that's not going to ask you about what you do. As long as in the process, he still has your heart. And you're going to have to keep that same energy now that he's going to be Q's right hand. True hopped up off that bed so fast, she hadn't even considered that. The Queen Mother said, sounds like you and Big Wood going to have a conversation here soon. True thought to herself, yeah, okay. I wish the hell he would. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get Q out of taking this damn position. Because I ain't going. The Queen Mother said, listen, if Stephanie can get it together, if she can play this right. True said, her being pregnant is not a game. The Queen Mother said, pregnancy is a part of life, and life is a game. If she can play this right, she can have both, but she's got to want them both. And she can't want one more than she wants the other. And just so you know, the same can be said for you. If you want this life more than you want a life with Big Wood, let him go. When the two hung up, Idris said, sounds to me like you need to take your own advice. The Queen Mother said, now you know I'm not going to do no back and forth, right? If you walk out of here right now, do not come back. Idris said, you do all the advising, but who advises you? Because you definitely need to talk to somebody. I don't know who the hell you think I am, but I'm not a St. James, and I damn sure ain't Anders. Before you were his wife, before you were the Queen Bee, I loved you. I bet when you was a kid, your mother told you the same thing that my mother told Nadia. Be with a man who loves you more than you love him. I bet you told Anya the same thing. I never heard my mother tell my sister what to do with him, though. And I don't know if your mother told you what to do with him. By the looks of the way you handled Anders, she must not have. The Queen Mother said, be careful how you talk about my mother. Idris said, no need to deflect. My point is I hope you told your daughter what to do with a man who loves her. Because it's clear you don't know. I am entirely too old. And truth be told, it's way too many women out here who like a man with a little salt and pepper in his beard. For me to be chasing and pressing you, I spent too many years of my life single and having my way. To be battling with a woman who's too busy battling with herself and losing to appreciate my love for her. You don't want to get married ever again? That's cool. But I don't want to be your boyfriend. And your balls ain't never going to be bigger than mine. And so you know, I ain't jacking Q being the kingpin. It's downright dishonorable to the man that Anders was. And you should be ashamed of yourself. And he turned to walk out. And when he almost got to the door, he stopped, turned around and said, and like you, I ain't built for no back and forth. So when I walk out of this door, I won't be coming back. Because I can't make you love me if you don't.